Let me see. Yep.
We're
Yep,
back.
we're up. We're
We're back.
back.
So we
Eric, we're fighting the technical powers that be, but thank you
technical
everyone
powers of
for
the.
tuning in and always being there. We appreciate it. Um, but yeah, thank you everyone.
Thanks for hanging in, guys. We really appreciate it. It's just lots of technical issues here with bandwidth, and we're glad you're with us.
thank you. Yeah, AJ. So we basically like the video that is streaming to Facebook. We basically lowered the resolution to one of the lowest settings that we got. We're basically at 480 right now. So midway in standard definition. It should hold in theory. We apologize. Thank you for hanging out with us, man, because we love to be able to give you any advice or anything that we can give of us to support you. We love that you're here with us, so
That's the
we
point.
greatly appreciate that.
That's the point.
And Eric, I apologize for like all the technical
Hey,
issues.
it's not within your control. So,
But
so what else can we talk about here that might be of value?
AJ, AJ, what do you want to talk about? Do you have any questions about it? Because you're always here faithfully every time I turn on the camera. Sometimes the hours have been crazy, but I appreciate that. Do you have any questions or anything? You brought up that may help. Yep, yeah. Hopefully it does help. Hopefully it does help. So you brought up a lot of good points that over there in Florida. You said there's not a lot of support for independent filmmakers. Despite that, you guys run around, you make your content, and we do the same. We do the same, and
I think again, if this is something that you want to pursue as a career, and especially in this day and age, even in fact in larger markets, I think that we are now in a day and age where it is possible to become an entertainment entrepreneur for more and more people. And so you have to have that entrepreneurial spirit, which filmmakers naturally have anyway, because they naturally create something that hasn't been created before. But you also have to now have an entrepreneurial spirit and design strategies to help you to monetize your career. And while that is still incredibly difficult, we have more tools at our disposal than ever before, and it's a matter of how creatively we use those tools and how well we understand the way the industry is developing, so that we can take advantage of the opportunities as they present themselves and make opportunities no one else has thought of before.
And with regards to like, yeah, I mean, even for example, using my laptop and a little camera with the light behind it,
Yeah.
this is reach, and so well, I guess one of the fascinating things when I think about the tools that we have is we can use what we have to show what skills we've got, and if there's somebody out there who, somebody in a position to be able to take us on and say, hey, you know what? I saw this Eric guy in this video on the internet. I need to get that guy signed. Bring him to me.
It is possible. I think this again is though where you've got to be really savvy, because we're not we don't have visibility unless we make ourselves have visibility. Um, if you're fortunate enough to get into a project with some big exposure, and I've had a couple of those recently, then you can utilize that to accelerate your growth. But if you are pretty much swinging on your own, or you have a small community of filmmakers that's swinging on their own, then part of your task is to figure out how to reach a large enough audience so that perhaps those gatekeepers might see you, and how to distinguish yourself from the crowd. Because as there is also, as many filmmaker friends of mine have said, anyone can pick up a camera these days and say, I'm a filmmaker. And and it's true, they are a filmmaker.
Literally.
Are they at a level, are they creating content that an audience wants to see enough that can be monetized? That's a different question. And it may and it there's a lot of different answers for that now at a lot of different levels. You've just got to get really creative about the approach.
And I'm always fascinated by the videos out there. When somebody brings you a video and says, you've got to see this short film, it's on YouTube or it's on Vimeo, you've got to see this actor, this comedian, this director's work. And if it's something that somebody's doing that's so impressive, but they're working from their basement or their bedroom and they're making videos, I don't know. Here's my train of thought on this. If I'm a big somebody out there, okay, and I see something or somebody like that with so much talent, using the bare essentials to tell a really good story, and you know they've got skill, I would say, wow, imagine what they could do with a real budget. Imagine what
You
they could
might.
do with the real
Right.
resources.
But now let's look at it from the perspective of that 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 gatekeeper, that studio executive or whatever. Yeah, don't forget to stay hydrated. He says while not drinking. Um, Look at it from that perspective. You know, the more notoriety you have, the more power you have in the industry, the more stuff comes across your desk.
Yeah.
You're inundated, and you probably, you know, in the larger studios, there are multiple layers of people taking in content and determining whether it has enough value to take it upstream. And now, of course, the larger the studio, the the more likely that nothing's going to get through the door without a reference from someone who's already vetted. So if you don't have those kinds of connections, you have to find a way to get that notice to cut through the crowd and be seen by the right people.
Very true. And so
Practice
this kind
the
of,
art of 6 degrees of separation and network. Networking is a very large part of it. You are correct. Yes.
yeah,
And that is one of the skills that you've got to develop. In fact, what was it? I saw a quote from Orson Welles the other day, and it was I'm using the wrong number, so please forgive me. But essentially, it was filmmaking is 98% hustle and 2% art. It's no kind of a life was the actual quote. but
yeah,
that's still true today. Is that in order to get in front of your audience, in order to get the notice of distributors or whoever else it might be that can move your career forward, you've got to learn how to do that.
yeah.
If you think that you're just going to make a project, put it up online, and everybody's going to flock to it, that almost never happens.
Yeah.
There are those rare circumstances, but it's
True.
incredibly rare. So you've got to learn the business of making movies and making whatever art form you're in. You've got to learn the entire. You've got to learn the business, or you've got to partner with other people who know the parts of the business you don't know, so that you can create a strategy.
Indeed. Yep. That's AJ. Very, very true. Very, very true. Um, Eric, one of the things that always continues to fascinate me about this, and we're about 8 minutes in. You tell me, I mean, since I've since it's been a technical odyssey, and
Technical
you've
odyssey. I love the way that sounds.
read
It's a technical odyssey.
um, write a book with that. You guys are right on the money.
Thank you.
I wish there was a pile of money right here, Alfonso, but yeah, thank you. So
He is not technically on the money, but philosophically, yes.
So I know a lot of filmmakers and just people. Somebody's reaching for a dream is going to be able to connect with the following. But one of the things that while you're working at the grassroots level, while you're doing your own thing until somebody at the next level gives you a shot, notices you, or there's a door or window that opens for you, um, till that opportunity comes by, and you're at the grassroots level with very little money, but still with good people around you, and the basics, cameras, editing systems, etc. Um, and again, you come to that mental fork in the road where you say, okay, do I continue to do this or not? Um, it's a mad world to continue to do something that's basically after work. If you go to work, if after work it's depleting you and you're tired, you come home, you have dinner, you clean the house, maybe you have a significant other, you devote some of your time to them, and then you still go after this. It's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
That's exhausting. But one of the things in one of the previous feeds, and yay, this one's not crapping out. One of the things in one of the previous feeds that we mentioned is Alfonso says, making the movie is the easy part, getting the world to tune in is a different story. Yeah, making the film is literally only half
That is
the battle.
true. That again comes down to business model and comes down to strategy and lots of other things.
But Alfonso, this ties your story ties into what I was just saying right now. You didn't stop. You chose to not stop. You chose to keep on going despite the odds. I like to say that when you're a filmmaker at the grassroots level, you're basically a flea up against an army of gorillas.
Mm.
And there's a line in the sand, and a rumble is brewing,
Mm-hmm.
like in The Outsiders. Except you've got one greaser and about a million socials.
And you know what though? So in every great war movie, in every great sports movie, in every great, let's use movies as an inspiration here. There's that moment where the odds are against you, and you've got the warriors on the other side facing up, and there's twice as many of them, and there's an inspirational speech, and somebody says something really inspirational, and the good guys go and clean the bad guys' clocks or whatever might happen in that film, and so that again comes down to, yes, you need to be aware of all of these barriers. You need to be aware of how difficult it is. You need to brace yourself for that. But if you believe in your heart of hearts that this is what you are supposed to be doing, you also have to believe that you can succeed. And whether or not you actually do succeed, well, that will be seen in time. But you certainly won't succeed if you have no belief in yourself. You certainly won't succeed if you don't see the positives, and if you don't continuously approach your art form and your business with passion and with dedication, with that true belief that you're going to get further, and again, that wise knowledge that it's not likely to happen tomorrow, maybe not the next day or the day after that, but eventually you will get to your goals if you believe in yourself and you continuously improve everything about what you do.
And that ties into AJ's comment of "gotta be dedicated." AJ, I think that's and as brave heart of a speech as the following, what I'm about to say sounds, it's very true. Eric, and you jump in here if you find truth in this also. Being dedicated to this or anything, if it's a marriage, a project, a goal, long term, short term, being dedicated ultimately comes down to a truth that has to be explored within yourself. It's a path that only you can choose to walk. And if you do choose to walk it internally, it's going to be only your path to walk. So to choose to be dedicated each and every single day when you're up against the odds, I mean, that's quite the choice, but
and it's not for everybody. Again, it comes down to those with the entrepreneurial spirit. You know how many businesses start within the United States alone and close within 5 years. The majority of them. And the really wise entrepreneur who's dedicated to being an entrepreneur, do you know what they do when that happens? They start another business.
Yeah. Why is that? Why?
Because what their passion is to be self-employed in that particular case. So they may have a passion for selling or creating or providing a particular service. And what they do, the ones who make it, the ones who succeed, look at those quotes failures as learning experiences, and they go, well, why did I fail? Why did this close down? Why did these series of events happen? And what can I take that knowledge to circumvent those problems the next time? Now, if you don't have that kind of drive after that business closes, or after you've suffered through a bunch of trials and tribulations making a film, then maybe this isn't what you're really truly in your heart of hearts that passionate about. Maybe it isn't really your path, and that's okay also.
Yeah.
If you learn that from that experience, that's fantastic. Maybe you'll figure out then what is your path. There's an old saying, and I think it's a Zen saying. Forgive me if I'm putting it in the wrong place, but essentially that enlightenment is not a destination; it is a journey.
Mm.
And so it is the journey. So very much like a spiritual path, if you're on a spiritual path, it's not that someday you're just going to know everything. It means that you're going to be continuously learning more.
Yeah.
Even when you reach a level of, say, spiritual mastery, as you might say. I studied martial arts for a long time, and in fact, my teachers always reminded us of these things, that you can have the title of master, but if you just, one of my great teachers always used to say, you can have the title of master, you can learn a lot of stuff, but the minute you feel that you've learned everything, your growth shuts down.
Yep.
And so likewise, on your path as a filmmaker or an artist of any kind, or an entrepreneur of any kind, the minute you feel that you've, hey Christian, the minute you feel you've reached your apex, or the minute that you have, essentially what I'm saying is that your life is a path, and maybe the arts is part of it for a while, maybe it's part of it for the duration.
Very true. Let's address a few of your guys' comments out there. Alfonso, you wonder where I always find all the energy. I don't have the energy, brother, but I make the energy. I don't know. I just do it, and it's a choice of, okay, do I go to bed and know that I didn't do my writing and my script tonight, or do you just get up and do you just try to do it while you still have the energy?
I think AJ made an interesting comment above that we could all try being strippers.
Yep.
And I assure you that that would not get me very far.
I would file for unemployment right away in that case.
Ginger, no, I did not. Is it on this feed?
You know what? It's probably on one of the past feeds, because we've gone live like 5 different times. Ginger, what did
That's the title of my kung fu teacher.
Sigong.
Yeah, yeah.
What did Sigong say?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Let's see what.
I'd like to see it.
Ginger, what did Sigong say? Let us know. Christian Mesa, good to see you. Christian, nice to meet you. Alfonso says, when you're in the middle of failure, you don't see the lesson until some future time. That's true. And so, but here's the other thing. You can't react to what happens to you. You can react to or you can decide how you react to it. So you can either see a certain instance as a failure, or you can see it as, okay, just one more step in the learning process. Do you dust yourself off and keep on going? Or do you let that failure be the failure that keeps you down?
And you do more than just dust yourself off, though. Again, you dust yourself off. If you decide to keep on going, you go, what made me fall over?
Yeah.
Now, how do I not fall over? How do I succeed?
Chippendales is hiring.
Well, they might hire me as a bouncer, but I don't think they'd hire me as a dancer.
I could be a plumber.
You could be a plumber.
Yeah.
Plumber. Maybe we should show up as a plumber or a bouncer.
Hawan Kim. Hawan, how you doing, my friend? Hawan is from South Korea, and he was part of the Arizona International Film Festival.
Ah, wonderful.
And had a great movie with regards to special needs people in South Korea.
Very interesting.
And how society treats them.
Very
interesting
I'd like
film.
To see that.
Yeah,
I couldn't make
Honeymoon.
it to
Honeymoon's called
Honeymoon.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it to that festival at all this year. I was in the middle of filming a feature, so I was seeing little bits about it here and there in between long shoot days.
No, it was a great festival, and let me see. We need to make an energy drink for film crews. Yeah, you know what? That'd make like a lot of money, because the guy who created 5 Hour Energy Drink, he actually has a bunch of side projects. I forgot what his name is, but it's all under the umbrella of a project called oh my god, my brain's anyway. So that guy made a ton of money, and now he's got all these other projects that are basically like
a lot to get back.
saving the earth and cleaning, taking salty water and the desalination process.
That's pretty cool.
Another bike for impoverished nations, or maybe not. You pedal for 1 hour, get 24 hours worth of electricity.
Yeah,
Really
interesting.
Another machine that he developed was a table. You lie down, put these pads around your legs, your calves, all the way down. It squeezes your legs, and so it gets circulation going through your body. That way you don't have disease and all kinds of stuff. But my point is that the guy, 5 Hour Energy Drink, did amazing things when he struck it big.
Now, Myrna made a comment here, making sure you surround yourself with people who support you and who you also support in your endeavors is key to not getting discouraged. That's very true. It's also key to getting things done. It's having people who you can partner with.
I recently, just before this, I recently had a friend who reached out to me, and I thought he wanted to talk some sort of business, talk shop. It turns out that he was spiritually hungry for encouragement and nourishment.
Yeah.
And not that I'm like, you know, the grand savior Jesus Christ that's gonna fix his problems, but I think he just wanted someone to talk to, someone to be around, another filmmaker in this case. And so I really didn't do anything other than stuff my face with hot wings and listen to him. And I heard him out, and it helped him. It helped me. So Mirna, you're definitely right. You got to hang out with the right people.
If you know me and you've talked with me at any length, and you've probably heard me say something I say over and over again, which is that I do believe very, very strongly that artists have to look out for each other. We understand each other the best. We can relate to what each other's going through, and sometimes we can help each other more than anyone else can. And it's really key. When we find reasons not to look out for each other, we become islands, and we really lose our greatest resource, which is each other. In fact, I think that any way that we can find to benefit each other is a way of benefiting us as a whole, and any way that we can make sure that the projects that we create are collaborative in nature and are mutually beneficial in nature,
yeah.
Leads to greater success for everyone. I'm very careful, in fact, about that when I put together projects. I look at the skill sets, the mindsets, the time of the place where people are in their lives, and try to put together organizations of people who are in the right place at the right time to do the right thing. And then I try to make very sure that everything that happens with that project benefits every single human being who walks onto the set or is involved in some way, to the best of my ability.
That's a good way to think of it, and diminish the old way of thinking of me, and what can I get for me, and and
it's a good way to find yourself alone.
Yeah, that's very true, and I've seen it happen in LA, and I've seen it happen here in Tucson, unfortunately.
Sure, yeah.
So it's got to be about the we, because what do they say? Rising tide raises all boats.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mirna says, or AJ says, long past my bouncer days, but I can play one now. AJ used to be a bouncer. That's cool, dude. So you can really rough some people up, man. That's awesome.
Well, if we do decide to approach Chippendales about that bouncer job, we'll have to call you for technical advice.
Mirna says, call the energy drink Real Brews.
Real Brews.
Real, R-E-E-L.
Real, R-E-E-L. Very good.
I like that. I like that. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So we need a tagline, though, like, real brews, so that you can focus to get the shot.
Focus for focus.
Yeah.
Focus for your focus. Oh no, here it is. Real brews, your critical focus. Bam! Right there. If anybody uses that, we get a percent.
Yep. I like that. What do you guys do when, and we've already kind of covered this also, but what do you guys do if you guys are Mirna, I think you said that you are going to hopefully maybe one day soon write a book, something like that in the works, and I hope you're working on that, and if not, that's okay too. But what do you guys do to come home and still work on that dream afterwards? So, but we've talked at length about a lot of things, and mostly because of our kung fu depth of knowledge type of wisdom, but in large part because my computer kept on crapping out. So, and it's funny, look, it's not making that much noise anymore ever since we dropped that resolution.
It appears so, yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess I can blab on and on and on forever about inspirational stuff and whatnot, to share the information and whatever I can share with those around me. But it also serves as a mirror to remind myself of what I also need to hear, what I need to remind myself of. To not quit, to organize myself, and that doesn't go just for me. That's for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think time management is an important factor as well, and I hear from a lot of people who say, hey, I have a great idea for a screenplay, or I have a great idea for this, or a great idea for that, and I'll say, okay, go write it, and I never hear from them again. And and there is and I think in our own workflow, we'll notice that there are things that we have ideas for that we never quite get to.
Mm-hmm.
Let them go. Move on. Focus your energy on the thing. That's an indication that that's not really your passion. You know, if you're willing to, if you find that it is something that you can dig in and start making happen, there's your passion. Focus your energy there.
Very true. Very true. Because if it
you have an energy bank every day, and you have a time bank every day, and you have to learn how to make wise use of it. And that's something I certainly struggle with on a regular basis. Hey, Robert Linden, actor, fight choreographer extraordinaire, and good buddy of mine.
What's up, Robert? How you doing, man? We miss you here in Tucson.
Hello in LA.
We hope you're doing good, man.
Yeah.
Mirna is writing a book. She's working on it.
Good show.
Do it. Want to see it?
Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Want to see it published on Amazon Books, I believe. Amazon has a publishing service. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, do it.
Here's an interesting tip, and I've used this a little bit. Ernest Hemingway has said, who, you know, one of the greatest American authors ever. Ernest Hemingway, it said, used to, every day that he wrote, he would stop when he knew what was going to happen to the characters next. So that when he started up the next day, he knew where he was going.
So did he not map out an overall structure?
I don't know, but I'm assuming that he did, but like he would stop at a point where, you know, he knew exactly what he was going to put on paper next.
Yeah.
What was going, but this way he wasn't like starting up from zero speed the next day, and it was much easier to get going.
Oh, okay,
you know?
Okay. So for
to sit down and write more
for purposes of traction,
of self-motivation, and you know, because like if you know, okay, I want to write this scene, this is going to be really cool, I know what they're going to say, you know, sometimes if you leave yourself from a point where you have to start up at ground zero, then it's harder to get started again when you have to self-motivate, and many, you know, a lot of what we do as filmmakers and performers is a lot of self-motivation to keep it going. Even if you're working on a project, like as an actor, you know, one of the most tedious things for an actor to do is learn lines. And I've worked on projects where I've learned humongous amounts of lines, and there are times where it's like, man, I just don't want to run this thing over and over and over and over and over again to get it locked in my head. And you've got to find ways to motivate yourself to do that, because you certainly don't want to be unprepared when you show up on set.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Fighting ninjas, hold on.
When we fight the ninjas, the technical ninjas that we had to fight off, Robert.
Rob has ninja problems all the time. Actually, they always want to challenge themselves against him.
That's right.
Yeah.
If at the very least they go to a 6-pack duel.
Yeah.
Where Robert always wins.
He always wins it. Actually, Rob's really nice about it though. After he cleans their clock, he takes them out for coffee.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I can see that. I can see that happening.
Makes him feel better about the whole thing. Promises not to tell anybody about it. I think it's because he can't remember their names. Also, they're wearing masks, so. Yeah.
Let's alrighty, you guys. So let's try the stream right here with the lower resolution this time. Let's take a look at Avance. You'll see Mr. Eric Schumacher, Fausto. Oh my God, Fausto!
Almost.
Don't kill me right now. Fausto almost Renteria. Oh, there we go. Gotta stop that.
Lots of other good people. It's late.
Yes, it is.
Brains are fried.
Yes, they are. All right, so let's take a look at Avance. Here's where it matters, and the resolution's good so far. So that was the problem. So maybe it's not the bandwidth. Maybe it's not the. Yeah. So let's just talk about this, and we'll close it all
out. Okay, but maybe we both mentioned some of the stuff upcoming, and
yeah. You know what? Let's talk about Tombstone Rashomon.
Sure.
And then you know what? You go ahead and
a
take
couple
control
of exciting things that have been going on lately, and some events actually that locals might be able to come to. And, I don't know if you heard about this, but IFA talked me into doing a lecture
Oh, really?
On June 3rd about the business of film.
Sweet.
So it's like contracts, risk mitigation, intellectual property issues, extremely exciting stuff like that. Well, more technical issues. So
this has been one of the most difficult nights, but you know what this reminds me of, Eric?
what does this remind you of? Are we back? Are we back live?
Yes.
Okay, we're back live. And what does this remind you of?
This reminds me of no.
Oh, wait, no, we're not back live.
No, not yet. Not yet. Then that's a delay right there.
Oh, okay.
So, but we ourselves are. So,
Oops.
this, see, there's me in pain.
Oh, there we are.
There's me in emotional, technical agony.
So
right
for
there.
those who don't know, we have a slight lag between when we say stuff and when you hear stuff. So it's a little hard to keep track.
I think it's cool. I think it's an amazing thought that we're here inside of my office and we're basically doing what Wayne's World predicted 27, 25 years ago.
Was that long ago? Was it?
Mid-90s, early 90s?
I don't know.
Was it maybe 93, 92?
I can't keep track of stuff like days, years, months. It's all the same to me.
And so we're basically doing
I got
that.
movies to make. That's all I care about.
That's true. That's true. We're basically Wayne's World right here. AJ says we're live.
We're live.
Ginger Ferguson.
Yes.
Yes.
Rob's back.
Yes to what?
What about your back, Rob? Sorry, 3 bad joke a day minimum. Everyone knows that. They're all bad, by the way, so don't get your hopes up. No lag right now. We have no lag. Good God.
Yeah. Okay. So without a lag, I have a Jeffrey Dahmer joke.
Oh, okay.
Jeffrey
I'm
Dahmer.
sure we were all looking forward to that.
It's really random. It's really random, but
Yeah,
I thought I'd share on a Friday night at around midnight.
People under 18 or those who would like to maintain sanity, please plug your ears.
That's right.
That's our disclaimer.
Jeffrey Dahmer craved Five Guys before it was a restaurant.
No!
That's oh yeah.
That was worthy of a Homer Simpson joke.
No!
Brilliant. Party on. I see a Wayne's World fan there.
That's right.
AJ.
All right, you guys. So we've got Mr. Eric. He's going to share about some info, what's going on here locally in Tucson. Talk to us about Tombstone, Rashomon. What is it? Who the director is, and because that was a really cool movie. It was very interesting to see, yeah. And and then of course the screening coming in.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So one thing that's coming up really fast is for those of you who might be in the southern Arizona area. I was fortunate enough to perform a film called Tombstone Rashomon, which was directed by Alex Cox, who directed movies like Repo Man, and Sid and Nancy, and other really classic, mega awesome, kind of cult classic films like that. Yeah. And the film is a retelling of the gunfight at the OK Corral, given the Rashomon treatment, the famous Kurosawa film. So basically, it's told from the perspective of each of the major players in the gunfight in an attempt to find out what really happened.
Which is really different.
It's very different. It's a brilliant concept. And I had the honor of playing Doc Holliday, which was an incredible challenge and a really beautiful experience. And so that one thing that's very cool that's happening coming up as part of the extended Loft Film Festival is that there is a screening of Tombstone Rashomon taking place at 7:30 p.m. In Tombstone on Saturday the 27th.
On what street?
On Fremont Street, where the gunfight happened historically. And Alex Cox will be there, along with various members of the producing team and the cast, and I will be there.
Does that make you nervous, knowing that you're in the town on D Street?
Oh, hell yeah.
And you're going to have people who could potentially say, well, it didn't really happen that way, or, they didn't really act like it. It's like...
Well, fortunately, I didn't write the movie.
That's true. That's really true.
I think it's a brilliant script, by the way, and I
You
know
are
it.
protected. I can see
And
the
I have to
force field
say,
right here.
that having had extensive conversations with Alex about this, he did a lot of research,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody knows 100% for sure what
No.
happened there. So everybody has their opinions. Well, certainly it is a little nerve-wracking playing a character like that in a town where, that's where it happened, and there are generations of people who are more familiar with that story than anywhere else in the world. And so the bar is set pretty high, and all I can, but I take some comfort in that I did my I gave it my all. I gave that character everything I could, and tried to find a unique approach to the character that was based on a lot of research and a lot of deep soul searching. And I hope that people like the portrayal, and at least respect the work.
I did, Eric, because of how much you put into it. Because you got to see this other side of what they were thinking, what they were feeling with regards to the actual incident itself. And so to take the time to sit down, I mean, it's not just bang, bang, bang.
No.
There's so much more that you and the rest of the cast and
It was a great cast, by the way.
the amazing cast and the amazing crew